Welcome to Backyard OASIS, a podcast designed by and for older adults living in the beautiful Pioneer Valley of Western Massachusetts and produced in the tech studios at Greenfield Community College in Greenfield, Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Denise Schwartz, your host. It's 11:30 in the morning and I'm getting hungry for lunch. I hope you are too, because today we're having a buffet. Today's a food for thought buffet day with my guest, Max Hartshorne. This promises to be a far-flung conversation offering fresh food for thought on a variety of topics. Because a significant part of Max's career was as a traveler and a travel writer, we'll talk about some of his maybe not favorite, but interesting places that he's traveled recently. He's also going to talk about how not to be lonely, which is what he found out now that he's retired. He's going to talk about why people don't answer the door anymore and why having a daily routine or ritual can make us happier. Oh, and we'll get a hint about how you can save money on Medicare, too. All this in 40 minutes or less. First, though, a little more about Max. He worked for the Portland Press-Herald newspaper and the Valley Advocate, and he had other sales positions for 23 years until he finally got what he wanted and became editor and publisher of Go Nomad Travel in South Deerfield, Massachusetts, from 2002 until 2024. He's retired now in South Deerfield, busy with family, projects, pickleball, podcasting, and travel. Hello, Max.
Hello, Denise. Good to be with you.
It is good to be together. So, I really wanted to start our conversation talking about how you prepare for your dinner, because this is a buffet day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And also because you prepare your meals in a way that I do not. But let's keep that topic in mind and launch first into some of the recent places you've traveled and why you'd like listeners to hear about them.
Okay. Well, I often get that question about my favorite place. And as a travel writer, we all never answer that in the way people want us to answer that, because it would be much easier to do that. I'd throw out New Zealand as the best place I've ever been, but I'm more interested in places I'm going to go and places that I've been recently. And because I like to be able to keep current, and as I do a column, Travel with Max column in the Greenfield Recorder. And in the column, my next week's coming out at the end of August is my column it's called Weekend in Chicago. And I think Chicago is a wonderful destination. It's a super easy to get there. It's about 2 hours, and it's on the way. It's a stopover for many other flights. But this story I talk about, I got asked on a Wednesday. She said, "Would you like to go to Chicago for the weekend?" I said, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So Friday morning, we took off and we flew to Chicago, and we did everything that you're supposed to do in Chicago, from deep dish pizza, which is really good, to the Second City comedy show and stand-up comedy. And we went to a place in Chicago called Hanabusa, which is a Japanese pancake company. And it's absolutely amazing. There's a line out the door. You only get 15 minutes to enjoy the fluffy pancakes that are just like balls of air. They're so good, and all these different savory toppings. But Chicago just...
Wait a minute. Do they throw you out after 15 minutes?
There's such a line. They say, enjoy your pancakes and leave after 15 minutes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that was kind of funny. The other thing about Chicago, it's so easy to get to. It's an inexpensive flight, and the Art Institute of Chicago is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even think it costs money to go there, but it's a tremendous, tremendous museum. It's very, very large, and I love poking around museums. And in the Art Institute of Chicago, they have these things called the Thorne miniatures. And what they are, it's a room full of little windows. And you look in the window, and each is a very carefully constructed room with details like paintings and carpet and little tiny furniture. And they do it in different periods. They show a room from the 1850s. They show a room from the 1910s. They show all these different rooms from the way back in the 1700s. And it's just a little piece of that museum, but it was absolutely stunning. It's a permanent part of the Art Institute of Chicago. But Chicago is also filled with flowers, amazing numbers of flowers out in the streets. I don't know who takes care of them, but it's absolutely a beautiful place. The other place is right near us, which is the eastern townships of Quebec.
Oh, yeah.
3 hours from Vermont, and it's just gorgeous. There's so many farms to see and so many vineyards and cideries. And I took a ride up there last September, and part of the best part of it was a restaurant we went to, and the name is flying out of my head. But basically, it was a farm-to-table restaurant where they took you on a tour. They showed you the menu, and they took you on a tour of the garden. And they showed you each of the exotic plants that they were serving that night. So you got to see the actual plants, having a drink, walking around the garden, waiting for dinner, and then dinner comes. It's a farm-to-table experience that you couldn't believe, and it's right in Dunham, Quebec. And Dunham is 3 hours from Vermont.
Yeah.
So you can get to Vermont, you can get to a foreign country so quickly from Vermont. The other place, which is really kind of touristy, but I thought it was fantastic, was Mallorca. Mallorca, Spain, the island of Mallorca. And it's got this west coast that people don't think about. Mostly people go to Palma, and that's a beautiful city. But we took a drive across Mallorca to the west, to Palenque. It was called Palenque, Mallorca. I have to say Mallorca has lots of places to stay. It's not an expensive place, but if you get out of Palma and you go into the countryside, it's absolutely wonderful. And again, people think of it as like, well, Ibiza and Mallorca are the part of the Balearic Islands, and there's a lot of misconceptions about like Ibiza is just one big ecstasy party. But Mallorca is a classic resort, and it's still just filled with really wonderful places to go, including a fantastic cathedral.
Well, wait. Did you fly there directly, or do you fly to Madrid and then there? What did you do?
Flew direct. There's flights now direct to Mallorca, which is really exciting. They have a direct flight from New York. And so we were able to fly right to Palma with a regular big airport. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is where I'm going in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Corčula, Croatia.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna fly to the famous city of Split, which everybody knows. Split, they go up and down the Danube, the coast, the Dalmatian coast. But I really like ferries. I did a column about this in the paper. I did a column about how much I love ferry boats and ferries, and to be able to take the flight from Boston right to Split, and then take a bus from Split down to the ferry, and get on a 2-hour ferry heading south down to the island of Corčula, which is Korcula.
Right.
Rick Steves loves Corčula, and I've gotten so many good rave reviews about it. It's going to be very relaxed. And just one last thing. If you want to rent a house in the summer and you go to Europe, it's cheaper than it is to go to Cape Cod. If you add up I rented a beautiful oceanfront, literally oceanfront, 5 nights. It was $1,100.
Where was that?
This was in Croatia.
Oh, so this is your second or third trip there?
Yeah, well, I've been to different parts of Croatia, but this is the first time I've ever been to Corčula. But the point is that if you add up the airfare and the cost of renting a place, it's far less to go to Croatia or Italy than it is to go to Maine or New Hampshire or Martha's Vineyard. It really is. If you look at a $5,000 rental in Martha's Vineyard, which is typical, I spent $1,800 on air and $1,000 to rent it.
Wow. How big was the rental?
The rental was so gorgeous. 2-bedroom with a sweeping view. Everywhere I looked, there was ocean. Absolutely tremendous place. And I thought, I could never get to St. Cape Cod.
Oh, you know what? Get out your phone and send me the link to that place, will you please? Because I'll see you there in 2 weeks. You're going.
Absolutely.
I'll be there.
And you can go to so many places in Europe. There's so many Airbnbs. I feel bad. The biggest thing in Mallorca is the number of tourists and the absolute backlash, because if every apartment is turned into a very profitable Airbnb or VRBO, the average person who makes $1,500 a month, that's the average wage in Spain. That's not very much. And if you think about it, Americans make 3 times that. So we go to Europe and we get a rental. And it's $1,100. We think, wow, that's cheap. For the ocean view that we had last year, we went to Italy. The same thing. We went to an island and we did the same thing, and it was very inexpensive. So, just renting in Europe, if you have the nerve.
But I wanted to ask you, are there cruise ships going into Mallorca?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Are they starting to limit those? Because I know that's what they're doing in Spain,
in Barcelona.
In Barcelona.
Yeah, in Barcelona, they're totally limiting it, and their goal is to try to eliminate it. I don't think they ever will. Mallorca has the similar problem, but I don't think they have the will that they do. Barcelona's got this whole separatist thing, with the Catalonia is always very restive and always trying to break away. So they're very actively against too many Airbnbs. They don't think it's fair. And actually, there's now going to be about 65,000 fewer Airbnbs in Barcelona.
I think that's a great idea. Having just been there, our taxi driver said there were, it's unbelievable, 40,000 taxis in that city. I don't know if he is exaggerating. But our friend from Paris was with us, and she said there were only 10,000 in Paris. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I think it really makes sense. I'm a tourist. Yeah. I go to all the tourist places as well as the out-of-the-way places. But when I was there, it was like there are way too many of us here in this city.
It feels like that too, and I feel pretty crappy if couldn't find an apartment. I couldn't rent an apartment because every apartment is rented to schmucks from New Jersey.
Well,
I'd be mad, I'd be like,
sorry, New Jersey.
Sorry, I grew up in New Jersey. I love New Jersey, but
yeah, you better say that again. Sorry, he didn't really mean that.
And so basically, I would say consider going to Europe for your rental, if you really want to have a fantastic experience. I've done it just my second year in a row, and I recommend to do it again. You
already convinced me. You're going to send me the link to that place. I'm going to go. Well, before we change the subject, I wanted you to say a little bit about skiing in Slovakia because I've been to Slovakia because that's where my grandparents were born, and I spent time there. And I think it's a country that people should go and see. I didn't ski there, but I went to all those little towns, and the people were wonderful, and the food was fabulous.
That's true, and the towns in Slovakia have been really helped by the EU. Because they're a late joiner in the EU, they've gotten a huge amount of money. They have beautiful highways in Slovakia.
Yeah.
They have ski areas, which we went to. We went to Jasna, Slovakia, and I'd say it was like a pretty damn good skiing experience, like it wasn't icy and there was no trees and there was no moguls. And again, the price, if you look at the price, I've skied in Turkey and in the Republic of Georgia and in Slovakia, and none of those has a lift ticket more than $20.
Wow. How many days did you spend there?
We spent there for a week, and we skied for like 3 days in each place, 3 or 4 days in each place. And the rentals were like, I think it was $50 for the whole time, and the lift tickets were like $17, and this is true in Republic of Georgia and Slovakia and Turkey, all those places. Again, if you think about doing the things that you do in Vermont, you go to Vermont, you go to Stratton, it's $150 with a huge discount, or if you go to Vail, it's $240. That's just, that's because they want you to buy the pass.
Sure.
But the point is, most of us don't ski as much. I'm 67. I ski 3 times a year. That's it. I'm not going to ski more.
You're not going to need that pass.
It's also a great excuse to go to a country like Slovakia. My friend just set this trip up. He said, hey, I'm doing a ski trip again. We went to Georgia last time on my recommendation. And he said, this year it's Slovakia. I said, sign me up. And I think the trip cost me $1,400.
Well, not just the money. But what about the stuff? How much stuff did you have to take there? Did you have to take your own equipment, or did you find the rental equipment was really wonderful?
Oh, yeah, it was fine. State-of-the-art rentals, no need to drag anything. Some we went there with a group of people, and one of them, like you, had Slovakian heritage. And
my cousin,
she was so
sure.
She was so into like talking a little bit of Slovakian and like the food and the wine and stuff. And they brought ski boots, which are like, I would never do that.
Where do you put them in your suitcase?
They're so heavy. They had special bags for the suit for their boots. But there's a good example, like taking a random ski trip with a group. Groups are really, people don't remember how fun it is. Sometimes, especially if you don't have a partner and your partner doesn't want to go, you go on a group, go with 8 people. We do
groups. John and I do groups. That's what we always do. And sometimes they're big, bus full with 40 people, but they are all travelers and they're always a lot of fun.
And the conversations
and the smaller ones
stuff,
with 20 people, and you get to know people really well. And I think it's the way to go. You learn so much.
Right.
You go places you can't go on your own because you can't find out about them.
And you wouldn't know, and you wouldn't really figure out how to time it, and you wouldn't know how to get to it. It's like,
absolutely.
I'm become a big fan of that. I love going on a cruise. It's so simple. You never unpack. You just go on a cruise. I've been on a lot of cruises, and I love cruises.
Okay, enough of cruise talk. I'm not a cruiser.
Well, I'm only a small ship cruiser. I've only been on ships with 150, 200 people at the most. And it's been fantastic. I would if you gave me a free trip on a Disney cruise, I would say no.
Yeah.
If you said you can go on a 3,000 person Caribbean cruise, I would totally say send somebody else. But if it was a Windstar and it was 200 people, or I went on a sailing boat in the Mediterranean and it was 150 people, and it was fantastic.
Bet you didn't go up the Volga with 170 people.
Well, there you go. That's another river cruise, right?
It was a river cruise on an old boat. It was great. It wasn't fancy, but it was really wonderful, and I'm glad I went when we did. Anyway, so some of those are some of the places you wanted to let people know about right now, because when you come back again in a month, you'll talk about more. But now I think we should talk about food preparation.
Yes. And I'd like you to tell the
That
audience about your visual.
Really boring,
I'd
doesn't
like
it?
you to tell the audience, Denise, about
Well,
the
I have to
visual.
take my glasses off. Hold on.
Now, first
What's
of all,
that?
these are photographs of the food that I make at home. They're beautiful. Here's one of Vietnamese sweet and sour fish soup, caramelized heat and eat ribs, niçoise salad I had last night with
Yuck.
tuna.
I don't eat meat.
And a Thai curry cauliflower soup.
Now that looks good.
So here's my point. I would never think to make these. I love these. I would make them in a heartbeat. But I know when you go to the supermarket tonight, you don't know what you're going to make. You're just trying to think of what you're going to buy. Most people don't plan their meals, and that's the thing. I love having it all planned. So I'm a big fan of Marley Spoon meal kits.
Oh, this is not a promo.
It's not a promo. Nobody's paying me to say this.
Just talk about meal kits in general.
I want to talk about Marley Spoon meal kits because they're
no.
the best. Because there's lots of these. There's Home Chef. There's Simply Something. There's all these Blue Apron. I have tried them all.
Oh,
and
you
have? This is Marley. Marley Spoon is Marley is the name of Martha Stewart's dog.
Oh.
Martha Stewart is a genius when it comes to making recipes and knowing what goes well together.
Okay, so how does this work?
So the thing is, every Tuesday I get a big box and it's got all this refrigeration in it, and I open up the box and I've got a little thing of celery, 2 ribs of celery.
Oh my God!
I have a little bit of cilantro. I have a beautiful piece of 10 ounces of chicken. I have fish because I'm going to make a fish dish. Grouper. I have grouper. I have a little bit of everything I need, but in the quantities are tiny. You cannot buy 1 rib of celery at the market. I defy you to find 1 rib of celery
for God's sake,
or
just
4
buy the
tomatoes.
Whole thing, Max.
I don't like that. I want to have a little bit, and that's it. So anyway, you get the box. It's got all this stuff, not cooked at all, but it's got these beautiful 8x10 colored images, and on the back is a very simple directions on how to
nice
make
looking.
it. And I can follow this, and I love doing this. Every night I look forward to dinner. I used to think, what am I going to make? How can I decide? Oh, it's already decided. We're having Vietnamese curry cauliflower soup. You wouldn't think to make that. I wouldn't think to make that. You wouldn't think to make that. It's just great.
I wouldn't even try to make that. Okay, I see why you like it, I think.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, shouldn't we just say, on the other hand, we do love our local farmers and all the farm stands that are out there.
I buy vegetables a lot. I mean, these things, they come in like, let's say this one, Vietnamese sweet and sour fish soup. I might want some broccoli on the side. I might want some asparagus. I might want some corn. I totally buy food at the. I love going to my farmer's market.
I know. We're so lucky we have so many here.
The corn that's grown behind my house, I can buy. But this is just like giving me a roadmap for the whole week of what I'm going to have and all the ingredients in one box. And so by the next week, I'll be all done, and then a new box will come. And
I don't know,
all
Max.
these surprises in there. I don't see any downside.
Oh, I do. How about all the waste with the packaging?
It's not that
and
much.
what if you're vegetarian?
You can get only vegetarian. You could get all vegetarian.
How much is it? Don't say exactly how much
It's about
it costs.
$109 a week.
I don't know. I don't think I'd do it. Would you do it, Alex? Say no.
No, Alex agrees with me.
No, he's saying
he can't
no.
think of what to make tonight, and now I'm giving him an idea.
No.
Vietnamese soup.
Oh, ick. He said no. Well, even though I would not shop that way, I would still like to go to grocery stores because then I run into people and I talk to them and
I end up
I
going
do
to
all
the
that kind of
grocery
fun
store, too.
stuff. I love doing that, so I wouldn't do that. But I think when you go grocery shopping in your local stores, you're with other people, and so you're not lonely. You see, I'm segueing.
Good segue. Yeah.
Segueing into the next thing you wanted to talk about was how not to be lonely now that you've retired.
Yes. It's a real challenge, and I wrote an essay that was in the paper that you might have seen. It was called 7 Days a Week at the Dog. The dog is the dog park, Greenfield Dog Park, where there is 4 beautiful pickleball courts waiting for us to play. And every morning, my gang and I, and there's 20 or 25 people, we show up at 7:30 at the dog every day, and we play pickleball. And I think for me, it's my healthcare plan. It's my anti-loneliness plan. It's my check-in plan. Like I go there and I see people, and I didn't do it for a month. I had some work done and I couldn't play for a month. I couldn't exercise for a month, and it made me crazy. When I got back, it was so great to see everybody. Today, somebody brought donuts because she's going to be gone. She said she's loved it so much. Last night on Facebook, somebody posted a picture of her and an older gentleman who we play with named Gabe.
I know
who's
Gabe.
84. And she was hugging Gabe, and she said, Gabe, you don't know what this has done for me. This is such a community. You've given me such a wonderful place to go every day, and that's what it is. You need every day, whether it's a painting group, a walking group, a coffee clutch at the Cumberland Farms. You need to be with people. Don't sink into your house because you can just close the door and disappear. And it's not healthy to do that. You need to be out in the world. You do your dancing. I do my lots of stuff.
We all do lots.
But basically, a lot of people don't do stuff. A lot of people are sitting around.
Sometimes you really do need to have some time to yourself, Max. You can't be doing stuff all the time, right?
Well, certainly. After you finish pickleball, I always think my day goes downhill after pickleball. It's so fantastic at the beginning, and then I got to hang around and do the rest of my day.
Well, I have an idea. Come to dance class with me in the evening. It'll be fine. So do you like this idea? Are you looking at pickleball or any kind of activity like that as sort of not just routine, but something that you can carry on a little bit longer than that? Like maybe a ritual? Because there's so much more than just getting out on the court and hitting the ball. I talked to Abe about this. He did an episode with us. It really helped him out of a really sad time that he was going through.
Yeah. If you're going through something, or if you're having a hard point, anything that you do, like when you're dancing, you're not thinking about anything.
Absolutely.
You're dancing. When I'm playing pickleball, all I think about is the ball coming at me, what the score is, and whether that I can hit it or whether it's going to go to that person.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely in my head in the game, and that's really good for you to do that. And later I can drive home and think about all this stuff that's happening, but right at that moment, for that hour, I only play for about an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, that would be a
lot. And that's
lot.
perfect. And that's it. And then you should basically, like, that gives me my little feeling of like, I did that for today.
I'm out there.
And tomorrow,
and
I always say, see you tomorrow. And everybody says, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
It's a good thing. Well, just one thing about that before we launch into the next topic. 7:30 in the morning? Come on.
Oh, yeah. I wake up at 5.
Yeah, well, I don't.
I wake up at 5, and I'm ready to go at 7:30. And everybody's there. It's not hot yet, although today was very hot.
Yeah, it's hot already.
But anyway, I like that early thing.
Yeah, and you go to bed at 5 too, probably, because you're exhausted.
I go to bed about 9 because I got to get up. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really good way to move into why don't people open the door?
Well, I'm asking you, and I'll ask everybody this. Do you open the door? When somebody knocks on your door at home, he's answering yes. I answer the door happily. But I wrote this essay about this and posted on Facebook. I said,
I saw it.
Somebody I said, my neighbors moved in, and I wanted to welcome my neighbors because I was remiss. I didn't welcome the other neighbors. So I thought, I'm going to welcome the neighbors. And 2 women moved in diagonally across from me on Mountain Road. And I went over and I brought cookies and I left them there, and they weren't there. And then I saw the 2 cars were home, and I thought, I'm going to knock on the door.
You're so brave.
Well, I mean, I want to see if they got the cookies and just say, hi, I'm Max.
Yeah.
Do you need anything? Here's where the dump is, and here's my phone number in case I can be a good neighbor. Knock, knock, knock. Ding, dong. Knock, knock, knock. Try the front door. Same thing.
Oh, my gosh.
Nobody answers. And so I wrote on Facebook, I said, what do you guys think? Like, what do you think? Is this unusual? And a chorus of people said, I never answer the door. Are you kidding?
What were their reasons? What were their reasons?
Oh, they don't know you. They think you're going to sell them stuff.
Yeah.
They think that you're going to be soliciting them. The point is that there is a lot of people that see no reason to ever answer the door.
Well, okay, 2 women move into a new neighborhood and some guy comes over with cookies. I mean, I would think a little bit.
Do I look scary to you?
Kinda.
Really?
I mean, you do have to think about that.
I mean, they didn't see me when I had the cookies.
How do you
I
know
left the cookies, and then I came back.
It's not the cookies that looked scary.
Well, this is a female-male thing a little bit, because I got a lot of the women on the Facebook, and I had at least 20 comments, and it was fun. It was a real back and forth. Some women said, it's so sad that, like, people don't put up the flag anymore, and people don't celebrate in their yards in the way they used to do, or that you can't just stop by and ask people a question. I mean, I guess there's a fear that bad people would come and knock on the door. I mean, I think in Deerfield that's really not very likely, but I give them credit, and I've never met them. They've been there for a month and a half. I've wanted so much to say hi, but I'm not going to push that. I already did
You're
my
right.
thing. I tried,
Yeah.
and I wrote a column about it. I thought it was very interesting that seeing what people feel, and there's a real feeling. Like one guy, this older guy who's my Facebook friend, said, I'm old. I don't have to answer the door. I don't owe them anything.
Oh, my.
I said, okay, well, fine.
Wow.
But, I think that personally, I'm the one that opens the door.
And I would say good for you, and keep trying, because
all you
somebody
can
will
do.
open the door.
Exactly.
Somebody will open the door, and you'll make a new friend, and we all need more friends.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess it's time to talk about something that sounds kind of dull, but really important. You found a way that we could, for those of us who are looking at Medicare, how to save some money.
Well, that's right. Now, to preface this by saying this is only going to apply if you're a very successful person and if you have a big income, then skip this segment because it's not apply to you.
No.
But there are a lot of people who make less than $29,000 a year on their 1040. In other words,
Right.
when you write your taxes, and business people like me have a lot of deductions. Maybe we end up making less than $29,000, maybe more. I've made many
Never
different
mind.
ways, but the
It's
point
okay.
is that if you qualify at that relatively reasonable level, you can go to the hospital, you go to the Cooley Dick, or you go to Franklin Medical Center, and you ask for patient services, and you bring your tax return with you and your Medicare card, and you talk to patient services. And patient services has a way of going into Medicare and writing this all down, and then next month you won't have to pay the $209 a month that you pay that comes out of your Social Security. It's waived because you're qualifying for the Medicare Savings Plan.
No kidding.
It's not advertised. It's not even very well known. Nobody tells you about it. But if you ask and you go to the patient services, and again, you have to go to these people that have direct connections to Medicare.
Right.
It's not a secret. It's not a scam. I earned this because I make less than that amount of money. For last year, I may make more next year. I won't qualify. But for this year, I qualified. And do you know, not only do they stop taking the $209 a month out of your Social Security,
Yeah.
and this made a big difference. I have a friend in North Carolina, and she's poor. And she said, I have $200 more a month. I have $2,000 more a year. Jesus, thank you,
That's
man.
really good.
And I said, I'm so glad I could do it.
Yeah, right. That's really
I said,
good.
I'm so glad that I qualify, and I'm so glad that you qualify. And you also get put into a tier of drugs so that your drug payments never go above $12.
Really?
$12 for like even the most expensive drug. It's either $5 generic or $12.50 for covering things like Eliquis, like $300 a month.
Wow.
I mean, it's really incredible. You get pushed into this lower tier of being needy. And actually what this means is the state of Massachusetts is paying for my Medicare. And then this friend of mine lives in North Carolina, and it's just that North Carolina will pay her Medicare. And I'm not taking advantage of anybody. It's a legitimate thing. I'm not like scamming anybody, but if you have a low income, I encourage you to go into that hospital right now, make an appointment. It takes a while. But wouldn't you like to save $2,000?
I think that's a great idea.
It's a fantastic thing. And it's so great that that's available.
Yeah, I had no idea. I almost don't know what to say because I think some people would say, oh, but I kind of don't want to go and do that because I don't want people to know.
But nobody would know because all you would do is tell the patient services person, show them your tax return. And, tax returns, sometimes if you have a business loss, and
That's
you
true.
You can
Yep.
easily have a low income, I certainly am, was just able to qualify, but, I may not qualify next year, but I think it's always worth looking.
It is worth looking.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that with us. So we're going to wind down now because it's really way past my lunchtime. I'm getting a little bit hungry. Is there anything else you'd like to let our listeners know? Maybe you want to come full circle and do a few more little travel things before we say goodbye and go eat that sandwich that we have waiting for us.
As you know, my bailiwick is travel. My love is travel, and I do really feel like a very experienced traveler after 20 years of taking trips every month for 20 years.
Wow.
So here's a few things that I would say that I always do that might help you a little bit. First of all, I always bring a power strip on my trip. I always bring a little extension cord that has 3 plugs because that extension cord will plug into a converter into one plug. the Europeans don't seem to believe in plugs.
That is so good.
Always bring the little surge protector, and then and sometimes it has USB A and USB, so you got that little strip, and you plug that into there's the one plug in the hotel room.
That's right.
And like I sleep with a CPAP, so I really need to have plugs, So that's one thing. Always bring a small power strip, or you can also get a little really neat little device they have now that's not only a converter, but it also gives you more plugs. But think about your plugs. You've got to worry about what the plugs are going to be like in a country like anywhere in Europe. In England, you're going to have the big old UK plug.
Yep.
And the second thing is, okay, I'm going to, like when I go on my trip to Croatia, I have to park my car. Okay, park your car at Logan Express.
Yep.
Pay $7 a day and take the $20 round trip bus to Logan. Don't try to park at Logan. It's like $20 or $25 a day. It's really, Logan is not where you should park. You should definitely park at Framingham, which is an easy ride. The only thing I don't like about it, Denise, is that when you get home from a trip, you're pretty tired and you've got to take the 40-minute bus from Logan to Framingham, and then you've got a little bit of a slog, an hour 40 to get from Framingham home. But it's worth it because otherwise you'd pay so much money, and there's no way to drive to the airport. There's nobody that's going to drive to the airport with any kind of economic thing, and you need your car to get home, and you want to bring your luggage. So I definitely say that.
And wait a minute, it really does work. And you know what? Even if you have one of those late arriving flights and you take the bus back to Framingham, back to the express place, right now I forgot
Logan Express.
Logan Express. Yeah. You didn't have to, in that crazy mind fog that you're in once you land after being away for so long, you don't have to drive through Boston to get to Western Mass. Let the bus driver do that. You get out there, and then it's all the way back late at night on the pike.
Exactly. It's really easy.
And it really works.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I'd say, the other tip would be, I don't know what people use for cell service, but get T-Mobile. It's so worth it. T-Mobile is free calls in Canada and Mexico. Text messages, unlimited text messages for free. I pay $55 a month for T-Mobile. I don't know why anybody would have another carrier except because of legacy and, these people that pay $10 or $15 a day with Verizon. That's a big waste. That's $70. You don't need that. You set your phone on Wi-Fi calling. You make the phone calls when you're in the hotel or on a Wi-Fi. When you go to a restaurant, you just say, can you give me the Wi-Fi? You go to the youngest person you can find and you say,
that's true.
You hand them your phone and you say, can you put the Wi-Fi password in? And they do it for you. Then you're all set. And you don't need to, don't pay so $20 a day or whatever the silly thing is. That's not worth it. You get free texts. And if you just play your cards right, just wait till you get to Wi-Fi to call. And if somebody calls you, I think you can do it for $1 a minute or something, but I never make the calls. I just essentially just make the calls on Wi-Fi. And to find out about flights, 3 things. AI is really valuable in this, and I have really become a user of Copilot. My preferred is Copilot. Mm-hmm. A lot of people like ChatGPT. A lot of people like Perplexity, Claude. I find that Copilot is how it knows me a little bit. It knows how
Of course it does.
It understands the things that I've put into it. I've told it to remember certain things. But if you want to just take, like we went to Maine a couple weeks ago, we went to Bailey Island, Maine. Really fun. And I said, AI, please, I'm going to Bailey Island on this date. Tell me what's happening on Bailey Island and tell me what I could do. Make an itinerary for me. You're a travel expert. Make an itinerary for 3 days and put down the stops and put down the distances between where you're driving. I went to Bailey Island with a wonderful itinerary of like where to go, what not to, these rocks. I never heard of these cool rocks. They said to go. I went to the rocks. I said, I like sitting in front of boats. They said, go to this marina. You can sit and watch the boats. And we did that. And I think any time you want to take a trip, tell the AI.
Oh my God,
say,
it's scary.
You are a professional traveler. Tell me, plan my trip to, like another thing, I'm going to Germany in October. I'm going to a trade show and it's going to be fun. It's a trade show and it's also just a bunch of good friends. And I said to AI, I said, tell me how should I arrange my flights? Because I wanted to go to Dresden in addition. So figured out where the airports were, where to fly. And then I also found this really great tip. Somebody told me this. They said, if you tell the AI, you are the ultimate travel expert. You know all the routes.
Oh my
So
gosh.
tell me the routes that aren't on Google Flights that I can go between Berlin and Boston. Tell me the airlines that I should fly and whether I should fly directly, use the direct like SAS website or TAP Portugal instead of using Google Flights,
Right.
which is cheaper. The TAP Portugal website's almost impossible to use.
I
but
know,
the
we
SAS,
tried.
yeah, it's for some reason. And they actually said, oh, that TAP website, that's
yeah.
terrible. But the point is, when you tell AI, find me everything, it starts to distill it down, and it does give you like routes that I didn't think about. And I'm definitely going to fly SAS. It was a good flight. I had some hiccups, but I definitely, like, from that, I would definitely recommend that you use Copilot.
Okay.
It's a simple AI. I mean, you can use whatever you want, but it's just very useful. And Google Flights is a good starting point. But when you're about to book, don't book on Expedia. Don't book on a booking platform. Book from the airline.
That's what I try to
Call
do.
Delta.
Yeah.
Call American. Book on SAS. Don't do the thing where you've got like this nebulous thing that you can't get a refund for.
You know, I almost don't want to stop. You've given me so much information. You know what I'm going to do? The next time we're going to travel, which is coming up soon, I'm not going to talk to AI. I'm going to talk to you, and you're going to talk to AI for me.
I've done that for many people.
Well, good. Now you're going to have many more saying, Max, I'm going here. Help me out. I like how you say, you refer to AI as they. While you were talking, I was listening, but I was also making notes about what we're going to talk about the next time. So could you tell me that, yes, we will do another lunchtime buffet together sometime soon?
My pleasure.
Can we do it like in the next month?
Well, I'm going to Germany, as I mentioned, but maybe after that.
Okay. And not a maybe. We're going to do it. Okay. And how about
I go
right
to
now?
college here, so I'm here all the time, you know.
No. Okay. So we're going to check in together. I'll ask AI to set up something for us. Okay.
Have,
so
AI
when you
call,
have time.
have your AI call my
Yeah,
AI.
I'll do that. And should we just say adios now and maybe go and have lunch?
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Denise.
See you later.
This concludes today's podcast. We're always looking for new ideas, so feel free to reach out to Judy Raper, Associate Dean of Community Engagement at Greenfield Community College, at 413-775-1819 if you have an idea you'd love to share. Special thanks to the creators of Backyard OASIS, Denise Schwartz, Chad Fuller, Dennis Lee, and Christine Copeland. Have a great day.